noma sana. Wangoi wa Mununga says, yes, of course. Gilbert Abrams says, it's not good, at least from school place. Vincent Shiembesta says, this is a question. Viva, colleagues are dating. Kelvin Kimutai says, this is not a question for us people in healthcare. Talmon Kipkoech Yagan says, as for now, no, because I don't even have a workplace. Bishop Ward, Anna says, ndio nifutwe kazi, mimi nacheza na mshahara si kazi. And Gauges Can says, why not? Are we relatives? So there's a lot, like differing comments, but you'll find that in the comments, it's a few people who are actually saying that they can't, but most people are saying, I mean, why not? Like they're asking, what is the problem? You know, and like you saw someone else said earlier, I mean, yeah, but I would write more, but my wife is, you know, could be reading this. Yes, you see, so like I said earlier, it's a very normalized and normal thing. And I think that's why, you know, there's so much engagement in today's conversation because of
they can see the problem.
Yeah.
But the problem ni kwa mtu amesema hapo ngoja ile siku mtakosana. Hautatamani kwenda hiyo kazi, and that's the real thing. Especially for the men wanakuanga tu, they're just so much. Umeniacha sawa. But we women really, we're emotionally wired. So now when I come to work, one, I'm just crying. When I see you, I cry again.
People are wondering what's the problem.
I'm depressed, yes. Yeah. Why would you put yourself in such a position? No, wanaume ni wengi huku nje, wanawake ni wengi.
I see. Let's speak about performance and climbing the ladder at work. People's focus, discipline can be affected almost to a good level, you know, in the same way. But women's, you know, impediment to their success or how they're climbing up the ladder can be more affected than men, right? So if a woman is not focused enough, and let's say she gets into a relationship just because she can, you find that it is said that her growth does not go higher, but the man's growth at work would not be affected, right? Anyway, what's your thought on that?
Wow. So relationships, actually, these relationships we're forming at work affect, like climbing the ladder, going up in terms of promotions and all that stuff, because you realize that sometimes appraisals, when it comes to doing appraisals, if you're actually supposed to appraise somebody who is working under you, then that means you're likely to favor them as opposed to really giving them what they deserve. So it makes it harder if at all there's somebody else who is out there deserving and puts in all the work. Like you're saying, if a woman puts in the work without them sometimes having the relationships with their bosses, it tends to be a bit harder for them to climb the ladder up, as opposed to them having a relationship with the bosses. And when you look at men, it does not affect them, because you realize that if they're putting in the work, they're likely to just go and scale up and go all the way up. So I don't really know if it's actually a good thing to, at that point, to like really be in that kind of a setup where you as a woman, you have to be in a relationship with someone who is a bit higher than you, who is a man, and they have to appraise you for you to get that promotion, for you to level up, for you to scale up.
Okay. Your perspective, Diana?
I'm just wondering, as a man, anytime just in normal settings, if your woman is doing better than you, you're already feeling inferior. So assuming we're in the same level, we're doing the same work, but I get the promotion before you, you think that relationship will still work?
Chances are no.
Yeah. Because why am I brighter than you? You're the man of the relationship. What?
In the same office.
What?
And if it's a situation where you're already the boss, and then she gets a promotion, and now she's above you, would that?
Isha.
Benefits the relationship will not be there anymore.
Isha kitambo.
Yeah, it's just a office work thing, office relationship. It's more of a beneficial thing. I'm just doing it because I know I'll get a benefit out of it.
And sometimes
either I can escape work, a lot of work, or I can always neza leta auntie zangu ama sister zangu kwa hiyo kazi because najua bosi, najua HR, mimi na HR tuko hivi. Or najua at the end of the day, if I worked or did not work, my salary is still coming in because I'm favored. It's just beneficial.
Okay.
But the way they've put that, it's now a normal thing. And already women complain about harassment so much while trying to get a job. So say, even if I filed a case against a man I was trying to get employed by, atasema mimi nilijileta kwa ofisi, mimi ndo nilianzisha, and there's nothing I can do, and we will put it like you guys were in love even before this. They've put us in a box. Okay, now with you're referring also to the ruling. Yeah. Now looking at now further dynamics, and you cannot take that to court per se and say ilikuwa shida kwa sababu sai kuna official grounds. Anyway, so you know, another aspect is kuna watu ambao they never, like, that's how they continuously survive in the workplace. They have to date or have to secure their work by continuously dating, you know, in different levels that they work in, and it can feel like a prison because you're highly successful, and for some people or most people, your private life does not look like your front-facing life, your public life, which is outside here. You know, you're so famous, you're so good, like privately, you're miserable because you cannot keep up constantly. Especially like in our city, it's a constant thing, right? So if someone, you guys are young, you're navigating this whole workspace, how would you maybe tell or look at how someone can navigate that space, especially in the present times that we are living in, and they feel like they want to come out of that, you know, prison, quote unquote, in your kondani?
So you mean in the aspect of now you balancing work, relationship?
Apana. Apana. Anataka kutoka. Yeah, yani. You've already been doing this. Oh, you've already been doing it. How is it okay? You knew the
umezoea kudate kazini kila wakati. Na zingine ziko real, zingine it's for your own benefit. Na public life yako iko very successful. Like any private life yako does not marry what you're showing people out in the public. So you feel like it's a prison and you want to get out of it. But you're used to this, and that's your security. What can you do?
Ni ngumu, honestly, saa zingine ni ngumu. Not even saa zingine, ni ngumu, to be honest. But the only way you can do it is you have to quit that job and look for another job, which in most cases is right.
So how do you stop yourself from believing that is the only way you can secure your work?
That's a tough one. Because already, unajua hii ni kitu umeshaanza kujizoesha. Unajua when you put a certain habit within yourself, inakuwa ni mazoea kila saa. Anywhere you'll go to work, you'll find yourself just getting into a relationship. Unajua, unafika tu kazini, somebody is treating you nicely, and probably they hold a position, you find yourself with them. It's in you, it's a habit you formed. So ni ngumu kidogo kutoka ndani. I don't know how you can actually be able to do that. As a person, personally, if I was in that situation, I think the only thing I would do, probably quit the employment scene, and maybe start something of my own where now I'm by myself. I don't have to report to somebody. Maybe I'm just reporting to myself, to my business. Maybe that would be the only way. Because ukirudi tu kazini, there's just a way you'll find yourself back to the same problems ulikuwa umejiweka initially of getting
going back to being employed rather. So you'd rather be like an entrepreneur.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe for some time. For some time, if it works out, well, you proceed with it forever. But if it doesn't work out also, and unajua pia biashara si ya kila mtu. So if it doesn't work out, you go back again and try. I think it goes back to self-discipline as well. Kuna vitu tu unaamua, hii mimi nimechoka nayo na nataka kuachana nayo. You have to call yourself for a meeting. I know it's hard, it's tough, but you have to call yourself for a meeting and say, I know this is what is affecting me. Nikiingia kwa anytime I'm at work, I have to be in a relationship for me to keep that job. You know, so lazima tu ujiite kama mkutano at some point and tell yourself that enough is enough.
Okay, Dana.
Achana nayo kama goal yako imefika. You already knew what you are starting. This is already business minded for you. You entered that relationship to achieve the offices. So if the highest rank was being a manager, make sure you get to that top. That's the only utacha. Because now at this point, I'm already at the top of the bar, so I don't need anyone for me to survive again. But
chances are, even if you've gotten to the top, that you will continue to stay there at the top for some time, ni ngumu. Because remember, maybe you even got up there because of sexual favors. So kama you're no longer having those sexual favors, it was not based off performance, then you're likely to fail as a manager. You're already there, but you can easily...
Now I'm the one who's going to harass your life.
It's so hard to go up, but coming down, it just takes a second.
But the thing is, your personality is attached to that behavioral pattern. So even if you have achieved your goal, because umezoea, it's not easy. You know, so how do you tell yourself, and maybe you've done it for what, 18, 16 years, that has been your constant thing. Like Mimi hapa, like you said, it's lonely at the top.
Yeah, after
so
that,
as in, how do you really stop?
Therapist. There's no other way. Hapo hakuna kujitoa.
Exorcism and therapy.
Yeah.
All of those things.
A few pastors, nini, you'll be fine.
But the thing is, what usually happens is when you're there, you'll try, when you're now at the top, you'll still try find someone huku chini, because now you're the one at the top. You'll try find someone huku chini whom you can have a fling with, still within the office, because that's what you like. That's what you vibe with.
But it's not beneficial again. Why am I doing it? I started doing this because, okay, step A, I needed a job. I got the job. I needed a promotion, got the first one, second one, third one. I'm now on the highest rank. Why am I declaring?
Now it moves from that to fun.
Assuming I was in a company, the next people I should be trying to talk to the county government. You get it? Now we keep going. We can't go back down.
He mentioned something interesting, which is the insecurity that comes to like making sure you're secure in the job, because if you're doing it, there's someone else who is even doing it better. You know what I mean? Because they're younger, they're vibrant, and then they have more ways. You know how society is, it keeps evolving, and then the ways that you did it are not the current ways that work in how this younger person is. So there's that insecurity, and someone may not know how to continuously keep up with it. So how will they handle that pressure? Now your security, your insecurity, I don't know how to do this.
That's why there's internet, YouTube. Learn what's going on, learn the trends. Whatever she's doing, befriend her, know better. Because at this point, you're already messed.
Lakini kuna hiyo character trait, hiyo personality ya mwanaume na mwanamke. Like both species are very insecure. As women we are, as men you are. But it's worse when you cannot control. Like, so this is a workplace, you can't fully control everyone. So even if you like him and he decides to, you know, be interested or not, if you can't control, the same way you cannot control the position you're in, inflation can come, economies can change, you know, so how can someone respond to that? Do you just fully walk away and say, Sapa nimechoka?
Hapana, I've worked too hard. Nimetenda dhambi mingi sana to be here. I cannot walk away from this prize. So assuming the position I was put by someone, and I know they're the ones that hold that security for me, itabidi tumendelea. Itabidi to the relationship has to continue.
But how will you make someone want to do something? What if they're not interested anymore? How do you make them still stay, quote unquote, interested? Na roho yao iko hapo, awanangalia another Diana who is younger.
There's no other way, sister. I think now that's why you say, like, I accept the battle is over. Because what will you do? You can't beat someone because they don't like you. You can't force them anymore. You have to just let it go. The
thing people need to put up in their mind is people get bored, like she said. People get bored. Feelings fade away. How you begin is not how it will end. Na tulisema dust ni constant. Dust is constant. So how it begins is not how it will end. It will end. And if you put that in your mind, and you go all the way up there as a result of relationships, as a result of sexual favors, just know, utajipata tu mwenyewe umechukua bag zako, because this was not based off performance. Wewe mwenyewe tu utachukua bag zako, depend, na utoke tu. Because
performance, just a different performance. Perform.
So performance is performance.
I put hard work. I put in hard work.
Well,
so all that has to be taken into consideration. But for some people, now the gory stories is most people have come out really messed up from workplaces where they have left everything that they strived to get because of the mental space they're in. That's why both of you have said Atakama, like you see, it's a continuous struggle that you have to keep up, you know, and the human nature, like you said, you can get bored, you can decide to, you know, to leave something.
Let me tell you something, Remmy.
All right. And then
let me tell you something. Based on what you're saying right now, one thing I want you to know, we go to work. When you grow up, you get a job, you start going to work. But one thing I want you to also know is waking up to go to this work every day is already a lot of work for yourself. So what people usually tend to do is the fact that you already know this is so much work, waking up every morning for me to go to this work, is why you find them going to work and finding that person, or that person they can actually vibe with, that person they can be vulnerable to, because they find work to be too much for them. I don't want to use the word depressing, but to be honest, people are so depressed at work. People are doing what they don't love. And if they do what they love, then they're being paid what they don't deserve to be paid. They feel like their worth is more. So I feel like eventually these people want to go to work because they want to get to that place and find somebody who can actually listen to them, make the space beautiful for them, and call them all those names, play around with them, the games, all that stuff, and so on and so forth. I
see. So you're escaping one thing to get into the other, which is...
But that's how we live and survive.
Creating a problem.
That's how we survive. The reality of the matter is...
Now you're working, you're already depressed because you're in the work you don't like. Now you already put conditions that you don't like for yourself because you've put yourself in a commitment that you didn't even want to. At first, baby is fun. Until now, it's starting to annoy you.
Okay, let's speak about, and I'm sure you've seen this in other offices or other scenarios. A lot of young people come into the workforce not quite understanding what it entails or what it's supposed to be. So there's that confidence of like, you know, I'm looking at Glantville and, you know, I want Glantville. But maybe the HR said, steer away. Steer away from that. Like that will not get you anywhere. But there's that naive aspect and the confidence that comes with youth, whereby you just feel, I mean, I can do what I want. And most of the time, their careers end before they even get anywhere. Not everyone can sustain, quote unquote, to go up the ladder by just feelings or emotions. Others, it turns out to be something beautiful. Others get married, others have children, and they have a different trajectory, but most of the time it becomes something very unhealthy. So what do you call that thing in your kwa workforce as a young person? Like your confidence in aiko well grounded is leading you to there, and that's where you're warned, like don't go there, but you believe like no one else can beat you. What's that thing?
So for one, I think it's a Gen Z problem for one. I think taking a place, whether was it we enter a place and we think we own it and we're gonna do it, and so you find that there are conditions. Now that's what limits you, because I'll talk to Lillian and I'll ask Lillian, how did you become a manager? Because you don't have the drive already, I want to be there. And she tells me, you see Uncle Thomas there, that's the way. But I think we're in a generation where it's just so don't care that I won't do it. Staki. I think when you're working with our generation, you need to know nezamka asubuhi ni quit job na niende home na nikatai na nikote kuchukua simu zako. So I think for us we're safe. I think that one affects more of the millennial era.
So is that a positive thing, the don't care aspect, or a negative, or how does it work in this situation?
It's both positive and negative. Again, these are people that are our mindset is so different. So you might tell me Uncle Thomas and be like, what if I do Uncle Frank? Will I get better? And they'll just keep like that. We're so outgoing.
The defiance, basically.
Yeah. Or Amaniko, like, no, it's not a must. For us, it's a two-way thing.
Right. And your perspective?
Remmy, do you actually know how it feels to have your boss, to be in a relationship with your boss? Already that is confidence enough, because you know you're untouchable. Nobody can tell you anything. And to me, I feel like it's low-key a good thing, because unajua mi siwezi guzwa. Hii ni mlima na iguzwi.
Lakini mkikosana utakuta wa kwanza, utaguzwa asubuhi.
But we are talking about building your own confidence. So me, I think I would feel so confident if I was in a relationship with my boss. I mean, mwezi niambia kitu.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right. So just like that, guys, we've come to the end of this conversation. Wow. Just like that, you know, and it feels like there's so much more to talk about. But just to touch on a couple of more responses. Kivega here, this is Facebook. Kivega says, watu wa mjengo tuko na colleague kweli. Maureen Ella says, yes. Ochieng Isaac ameweka picha a whole WhatsApp conversation, and I think it's with his work, a colleague.
Yeah.
You know what? I will not even go there because, but it's just basically, you know, they're asking for money, you know, about, you know, hair and stuff like that. So it's a whole WhatsApp. It's a screenshot. And
they have the same salary.
Yes. Look at you. And they do have the same salary, yeah. Dix Zimbabwe says, yes, why not? Wangoi wa Mununga says, yes, of course. Prince Nicholas says, yes, not bad, close monitoring. Sebastiano Fred says, yes, no problem. Ratemo Brown says, not date, but a knack will do.
Okay.
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 And I'm going to end it there. I'm going to end it there. Right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
You know, appreciate this, you know, you guys having this conversation. I mean, it's real. And you can tell with a number of responses that it's quite the conversation. You know, it happens a lot. But thank you so much for watching Morning Vibe. My name is Remmy Majala. We'll see you again tomorrow on Spotlight Thursdays.